Invasive species are a threat to our native flora and fauna.
They're spreading incredibly. It's unbelievable.
The fight against invasive species is extremely costly. Unique approaches are necessary. And sometimes, even specially trained dogs are called in to help when nothing else works.
Many species are hard to find, even with the most modern methods.
Natural environments need protecting. An emergency in a residential area. Thomas Beissel is called in to help.
I'm supposed to find a nest. I'm looking closely at the brush.
The homeowner called Beissel after he noticed some strange new neighbors. The expert already has a suspect.
There they are, but from where?
His suspicion is confirmed. A nest of Asian hornets, an invasive species and a major threat to local wildlife. Beissel is one of the 5 professional hornet hunters in Germany. His job is to prevent their spread. This time, it's just a small primary nest, which is almost always where a new hornet colony originates. It must be removed immediately. Thomas seals the entrances with shaving cream and uses an insecticide. The nest is sparsely populated, allowing him to move in close. Hornets from the Far East often defend their nests extremely aggressively.
The venom of the Asian hornet is very similar to that of the German and common wasps. People with insect venom allergies react strongly to these insects.
The Asian hornet is significantly smaller than native hornets and has a dark abdomen. Its strong appetite makes it a threat. It raises its young exclusively on animal protein. Honeybees are its main prey, and they don't stand a chance. A large hornet colony devours up to 1,500 bees a day.
These are the larvae. They have 2 tiny teeth at the front of their heads. They use these teeth to rub against the cell walls and beg for food.
Other insect species are also on the menu. The threat is serious, and the almost empty nest is not a good sign.
The queen is no longer in the nest. Now I have to look for the secondary nest.
Several queens leave the primary nest early in the summer and establish even larger branches, which are often very close by.
5 next year, 25 in 2 years, and so on. That's an incredible rate of expansion. We have expansion rates of 80 kilometers per year across Germany and France.
The spread can only be contained if the nests are detected in time. Thomas has been hunting this invasive species since 2017, when he changed careers.
I originally come from IT, but then I went to an educational event at an apiary and learned about bees. I came away hooked and said to my then wife, I'm going to study all winter and start keeping bees next year. Wasps came into the picture relatively quickly, because as a beekeeper, you also have to know about wasps. I quickly realized how amazing these animals are. Now, when I check the fruit here and reach in with my hand, I'm not afraid of getting hurt. It's a different story if I were to reach into a nest that happens to be hanging here and that I didn't immediately notice. That's when it could get nasty.
His love for not only bees but also native wasps led him to become an expert on Asian hornets. He has since worked with many environmental agencies to stop their spread. He is relentless, but also cautious.
We try to kill the animals respectfully. When we kill them, we do it quickly. No animal should suffer. Whether it's invasive or not, it shouldn't suffer.
Invasive species are one of the main threats to ecosystems. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has identified invasive species as one of the 5 major diversity killers, alongside the use of land and sea, land exploitation, climate change, and environmental pollution. The Asian hornet is one of the most problematic species in Germany. Beissel sets up bait traps containing a nutrient solution to locate the secondary nests. The insects find his feeding station within minutes.
Unfortunately, this is just a native hornet. I mean, it's nice to have them. They're great animals. They just look a bit scary. They're big wasps. But they actually behave more like bumblebees. They would be just as popular if they were fluffy.
He hopes an intruder from Asia will also arrive soon.
We then catch individual insects, let them fly off again after a few minutes, and note the direction of flight. We can then cross-reference.
Cross-referencing is often the first step towards locating a nest. It sometimes takes a long time. It's important to work quickly, as other queens could swarm out of the new nest at any time. This training field in Leipzig is also all about invasive species. Dog owners from all over Germany have come here. Citizen scientists who want to help in the fight against this new threat. Their dogs are being trained to detect foreign species. Biologist Annegret Grimm-Seyfarth is one of the initiators.
Top, klasse! Ja, gut! Top, klasse! Ja, super! Viele Arten leben so versteckt.
Many species hide so well, it's hard to find them even with the most modern methods. It's often only possible using dogs, since they can detect smells that we can't even imagine. This is a brand new method, especially for invasive species.
Dogs have proven themselves in the search for explosives, drugs, and people. Grimm-Seyfarth thinks their noses are capable of even more, and she founded an association for species search dogs in 2021. The threat is growing. The European Union's list now includes 114 invasive species, 65 animal and 49 plant species. But the invaders must first be located before they can be eliminated. Motivated volunteers and their dogs could be a lethal weapon. Rumo has been training for a year to find an invasive plant called Japanese knotweed. It spreads along riverbanks, undermines dams, and displaces native species.
Super, Mensch, gut.
You could clearly see that he kept running and was sniffing for something. It took him a while. Good boy.
Dogs are uniquely able to detect seedlings in the soil even before the plant sprouts. By then, the battle is often already lost. Besides Japanese knotweed, other well-known invasive species include Himalayan balsam and ragweed. Ragweed causes skin irritation and asthma attacks in people with allergies. Animals on the list include the bullfrog, the Asian ladybug, and the raccoon. Grimm-Seyfarth and the Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research are recording everything the dogs sniff out for 3 years. The data helps researchers decipher the connections between the spread of these species.
This is what comes out of our project, and this is what it looks like when all the projects are combined. Suddenly, a lot of dots appear. Here we can see that Japanese knotweed is now appearing along rivers where it can spread easily.
The sniffer dogs have already made many important discoveries across Germany.
They're able to find animals and plants at different stages that are undetectable to humans. And in most cases, they're also faster, more species-specific, and find more samples, animals and plants.
The budding conservation dog community is doing everything it can to establish sniffer dogs, both for research and for the fight against invasive species. They are even networking Europe-wide, with more and more projects based on the four-legged sleuths. At the invitation of the Baden-Württemberg Environment Ministry, experts from all over Germany are meeting to discuss containment strategies. Benjamin Waldman is the expert coordinating the measures.
Hamburg was hit again, large parts of Belgium. France is now completely colonized. We need volunteers. We need people to report sightings. We want to develop training courses, how to find nests, how to remove nests.
Time to take the battle to a new level. Beissel talks about what he's seen.
I sometimes did 5, 6, or 7 nests a day. When I remove the nests, I always check for the queen because that interrupts the reproduction cycle.
The situation is dramatic. Less than 20 years have passed since the first sighting in Europe.
We have the red dot here in southwestern France, the first sighting in 2004. In Germany, the first 2 finds were in 2014, one in Baden-Württemberg, one in Rhineland-Palatinate.
The numbers have since skyrocketed. Baden-Württemberg had 17 nests in 2022, and then more than 420 in 2023.
I want to be very clear that the increase is really dramatic. We're talking about a factor of 25 to 30 in Baden-Württemberg. Even the few experts who are familiar with this and the states we have good contact with didn't expect this. If things continue as they have this year, large parts of Germany will be colonized very quickly in the coming years.
No wonder Beissel is already off to the next nest. A tricky case awaits in the Black Forest. He and his assistant Miriam Vahr discuss what to do with beekeeper Martin Hansmann.
I'm here somewhere in this area, and you say there might be something here?
They regularly take the bees, yes. The first ones start to arrive at 10 a.m.
The nest is well hidden. Time for some small high-tech devices.
We're going to start a telemetry project today. The hornets will be tagged. They'll be fitted with a transmitter, and then we'll follow them with the antenna.
First, they have to find and catch the animals so they can attach the transmitters.
That's the best chance, and they're usually near the beehives. Can you look up higher?
The colonies are in danger because native bees have no defense. Asian honeybees have learned to swarm the intruder, vibrate their wings, and kill the hornet by heating it up to 46 degrees Celsius. Beekeepers are increasingly concerned since environmental toxins such as pesticides team with the varroa mite to decimate honeybee populations. And now the Asian hornet is spreading fast. In Nordrach, the bees have been on alert for weeks and have hardly left their hive. The invaders from the Far East have declared this their new hunting ground, but Beissel is having trouble finding them.
The search is frustrating. We have to accept it. One time when we were here in Nordrach, we walked around in the Black Forest all day and didn't find a single hornet. And the animals are clever. They're not so adaptable for nothing. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to hide so well.
They don't show up among the bee colonies. Maybe it will work on this flowering ivy. It's full of insects.
Thomas?
There it is, up there.
They catch 2 hornets.
A nest can contain between 2,500 to 3,000 insects. A nest like this can produce as many as 15,000 insects in a single year. Can you weigh it, please?
The hornet must weigh at least 0.4 grams to be able to carry the transmitter. Otherwise, it wouldn't make it back to the nest.
I have to concentrate.
Because attaching the mini transmitter is difficult.
I have this little transmitter here, and when I turn it on, the antenna and receiver start beeping. The hornet might also stop in a tree and bite off the transmitter if we don't tie it tightly enough. And then the transmitter just stays in the tree and the hornet flies off. The chances of us finding the nest are 60 to 40.
Specialists are needed for this special telemetry location method. And it's expensive. Each mini transmitter costs €200. Beissel holds the hornet so that it can't sting. Then he carefully winds the carbon thread around the wasp's midsection. If he pulls too tight, the insect will die or won't be able to fly. Then comes the big moment. On a hill, a last bit of honey for energy. And Assistant Var releases the hornet. The hunt begins. The volume tells Beissel whether he's heading in the right direction. But there's a problem. Far too many signals.
Somehow the signal is coming from everywhere. The problem is that I have interference, covering the signal from the hornet. We talked about frustration earlier. Sometimes it's really annoying.
Another transmitter or even an electric fence is interfering with Thomas's signal. The source is unknown and the nest remains hidden. The hornet and the €200 transmitter are gone.
We still have between 400 and 500 nests hidden around Baden-Württemberg. We'll soon have nest densities of 10 to 12 nests per square kilometer. That's a lot. Things will only get worse for beekeepers and even fruit growers.
He wants to try again in a few days. In Ticino, Switzerland, environmental engineer Chiara Böschung and student Alina Lüsche also rely on man's best friend. They are working with the University of Zurich on a concept to combat a new intruder.
Which one is it? Maybe the last one at the back. We recruited people and said we were going to try something. We couldn't tell them whether the dogs could do it, whether it would work, or if we'd ever be deployed. We didn't know. And we couldn't pay anything either. Would they be interested?
Jawohl, fine.
6 dog owners said yes and have been a part of the project for 2 years. The training is tough for human and canine alike. Now they have to prove their skills in the adjacent vineyard, where an invasive pest is wreaking havoc, the Japanese beetle. The beetle first arrived, like most visitors from Asia, on planes. First to the US, then Italy, and now Switzerland. The voracious beetle is threatening the Ticino wine harvest.
If it's only eaten a little bit, it's not so bad. The problem with the beetles is that there are so many of them that they strip the whole plant bare, and then it just dies or lacks energy.
Invasive species cause immense economic damage. €400 billion annually worldwide through crop failures, the eradication of native species, and the cost of containment.
Where is it? Search!
One final training before the mission, on a live specimen. The jars have Japanese beetle larvae. Dogs can't otherwise learn what the beetles really smell like.
Jawohl.
When it works, it's very rewarding. That moment when you see that they understand. Now she knows she has to search for it. You can see it in the dog's eyes as if they're saying, "Oh, I get it." In the end, the dog has to do the search itself.
The dog can't miss any larvae within its search radius. If it succeeds, it's doing a uniquely helpful job.
We don't have any other good alternatives for finding the Japanese beetle larvae, and it's important to detect infestations very early on and not wait until the entire field is affected.
Larvae spend 9 months underground eating the roots, making them difficult to find. When the beetles surface in early summer, they finish off the weakened plants. Böschung wants the dogs to sniff out the problem when it's still in the ground.
We really went into the project with an open mind. We didn't assume the dogs could do this naturally. I just see the great potential in using dogs, especially for organisms that are difficult to find.
The project has reached a decisive moment. 6-year-old Amiya is the most experienced dog. She searches the vineyard with her trainer, using her keen nose to sniff out any Japanese beetles lurking in the soil. Amiya is trained and ready to go. The larvae can hide as deep as 20 centimeters underground. Amiya seems to have found several larvae quickly. But is she right?
There should be one if she did her job well. Yep, there.
2 even.
We always have to check for false positives. It wouldn't be good if the dog had identified a larvae that wasn't a Japanese beetle at all, but a June beetle. I look at the hairs on the rear end of the larvae, small reddish-brown hairs with a typical V shape. Yes, it is one.
Good work. The whole vineyard now has to be sprayed again to kill the larvae.
This shows us that the dog has done a good job, that it found and understood what it's looking for.
The fight against invasive species is challenging in completely new ways, and sniffer dogs are proving to be effective helpers. But new biological control agents can also be deployed against them.
Researchers are currently looking for nematodes, threadworms that specifically target Japanese beetles. The threadworms can then be poured or sprayed into the soil, where they'll potentially infest and eat the Japanese beetle larvae.
Today's mission was a complete success for Bashung, Lüscher, and the dogs. A big step in the fight against the invasive beetle. Back in Weinheim, Beissel's bait pots are proving to be a big success. But the hornet hunter also has another idea.
I saw a big pine tree from the road above. It's off on its own and is a good landmark.
The tree is in an overgrown garden with difficult access.
Bingo. I'm very happy right now. Give me a minute.
The drone confirms his find. A large nest with up to 3,000 hornets. This calls for special tools.
This telescopic lance is made of carbon and is 15 meters long without the extension. It's hollow, so I can use compressed air to blow diatomaceous earth through it and pierce the nest from below.
Diatomaceous earth is a new organic agent for combating hornets. It's lethal to hornets but harmless to birds and mammals. Thomas has already tested it.
And when people ask, is it really non-toxic? I say, yes, it is really non-toxic. Prove it to me. Then I do this. I lick it. Okay, it really isn't toxic. Diatomaceous earth is basically ground up fossilized diatoms. Very finely ground sand. Depending on how finely it's ground, it acts as a biocide and dehydrates the animals. It dries them out.
The nest is just within reach of the high-tech lance. Things are getting serious. The hornets will also defend their nest.
I'm going to put on my protective gear. Sometimes the insects come down. They follow the lance to see who is annoying and disturbing them. I'll put on the jacket just in case.
He has to work quickly. He pierces the outer skin of the nest and the diatomaceous earth does the rest.
Stopp! Luft!
The Asian hornets will die in a matter of minutes. Birds will then take over for the cleanup.
The tree in this garden was actually predestined for the secondary nest. I could get to it with my lance. The nest is dead and can't reproduce. Another one down, but we have to find more.
A battle to maintain ecological balance and biodiversity. The Asian hornet has no natural enemies. It can only be stopped by a combination of technology and ambitious volunteers.